So welcome along, everybody, to this special show, a tribute show from Super League Raw to Rob Burrow, of course, who we've lost today. We've lost not only a rugby league legend, but an incredible father, husband, son, friend, you name it. We're all grieving this one. Our very best wishes here from Super League Raw go, of course, to Lindsay, Macy, Jackson and Maya at this sad time. We've lost a legend, and tonight we come together to celebrate Rob Burrow. So earlier this evening, I wrote a little something on Facebook. Some of you who are watching may not have seen that, and it read as follows. Sometimes in life, a human being comes along who is more special than most, and that individual is Rob Burrow, a sporting giant with a frame that was far from, a player of undoubted talent and genius that got to live his dream and won the team and personal accolades that he deserved. A man who faced the most gravest of challenges with determination and dignity, a son, husband, father and friend who loved and was loved. A man who has left a legacy in life that will endure both in and out of this great game of rugby league. Thank you, Rob, for the memories. Thank you for being the best in humanity. With love and respect and deepest sympathies to the Burrow family, the entire Super League Raw community, and I know that everybody will join me in that. Tonight, unfortunately, Joel cannot be with us, but with me is Greg and Steph. Good evening, gentlemen, on what is a very solemn evening. Greg, I'll come to you first. This hurts.
Yeah, it is. It's very, very sad, painful. There's not a lot left to say about Rob Burrow, really. That's not already been said, really, is it? He's a great player, and I think that the biggest sign of respect to a player like that is you hated him playing against your team because you knew he could do. He was magical. He could do absolutely anything, and he could turn a game with a run, with a pass, with a little bit of magic. And it's doubly sad in the way that he's been taken away.
Yeah, I mean, apologies to everybody who will be trying to tune into, who are listening to this thinking, where's the Final Whistle podcast? We've you have to stop when something like this happens. We decided to do this tribute to Rob instead, and I hope that everybody would understand the reason why we have done that. Get in the comments if you've got some great stories to tell. If you've met the great man himself, then by all means get in there. In the comments, we will read many out. Ryan Birch, one of our members, says, legend of rugby league, rest in peace, Rob. And Steph, you'd echo that.
100%. And I have to admit, I did have a tear in my eye early on watching the Sky Sports tribute, which I thought was absolutely beautiful, what they did there. But you know, like Reggie says, there's nothing much more to say about Rob Burrow, is there? I think everything's been said. But for a man who was small in stature, what a giant of a man he was. And I still remember his tackling for me. And I know he's very known for his attack, but you know, people made the mistake of running at Rob Burrow, and they soon regretted it. You know, but you know what an incredible bloke. Not only on the pitch, but you know, his battle off it as well just showed what a testament to the bloke he was.
Yeah, I mean, on that topic, you know, Rob will probably be looking down on Kane Rob this weekend in terms of his tackles on Mr. Lazone in a Leeds Rhino shirt. I mean, that was quite reminiscent of some of the challenges that Rob did in his career. Obviously, there's been a statement from the family. This is that statement. It's with deep sadness that we announce the death of our beloved son, husband, father, brother, and friend. Rob has always been a true inspiration throughout his life. Whether that was on the rugby league field or during his battle with MND, he never allowed others to define what he could achieve and believed in his own ability to do more. The outpouring of love and support that Rob and the whole Burrow family have received over the last 4.5 years meant so much to Rob, in particular the rugby league family and the MND community. I've rallied around Rob to inspire him. Thank you for your support. For those who knew Rob throughout his life, his determination and spirit in the face of MOD over the last 4.5 years came as no surprise. Rob never accepted that he couldn't do something. He just found his way of doing it better than anyone else. He will continue to inspire us all every day. In a world full of adversity, we must dare to dream. And I think that is absolute. You know, absolute. You know, there's going to be a lot of documentaries more than likely over the next few days, and I can't wait to watch them all because we'll learn even more about the great man. But in all of the documentaries that we saw, I mean, his dad and his mum and dad will be devastating. Again, our hearts go out to them. But his dad talked so openly about Rob's determination that despite his frame, and you hear the likes of the likes of Kevin Sinfield, but even Barry McDermott, when we did it in conversation, said that, here's this kid that racks up at the Leeds Rhinos and everybody's going, he can't be a rugby player. And the rest, as they say, is absolute history. I mean, he just defied all logic on a rugby league field, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. He was some of the players in that era that he came up against were giants. And I think, somebody's put, I think it's Ryan put in there that he inspired him to play rugby and to kind of, if Rob Burrows could do it, then so could anybody else. And I think that's quite a nice lasting legacy, despite what he's done to raise awareness of this awful disease. Yeah. I think it's the fact that he inspired anybody to think if Rob Burrow can play professional rugby league, then I can, I can be inspired to do anything. With the right attitude. So I think, as Steph said, he could tackle as well. He was magical with the ball. I think Rob said in the chat that he was probably the most liked rugby league player, no matter what team he supported. As long as he wasn't playing your team that day.
Well, that's it, Greg, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Steph not willing, not a day like this, not willing to give Steph a bit of jibe over Lee, but in that golden era, Warrington and Leeds came up against each other in finals in big games. And I'm not saying this because Rob's passed, and I'm not saying this for any other reason than it's actual fact. When any team in that era played the Leeds Rhinos, the player that you were most fearful of was Rob Burrow. Because you just knew he was going to run at those big forwards, especially when he came off the bench, because there was a time there where he played hooker and he'd come off the bench when it was about 25, 30 minutes in, and you knew your forwards were blowing, and you knew he'd do that little duck under and off he went, and you just knew that he was going to be the game breaker, and time again throughout his career, that's exactly what he was.
Yeah, absolutely. And he was normally his very good mate, Danny Maguire, backing him up. And I think part of Danny Maguire's success was Rob, in terms of creating opportunities for him and stuff like that. I also want to say about his wife as well. What a lady that woman is. I think if you could put one woman with Rob Burrow, you'd put her with him, wouldn't you? I think she's the courage she's shown, and the support she's given to him and everything through this awful disease. I think she deserves as much tribute as he does.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig Rigby, another member there, he's sending on his condolences. Dawn Baker said here to that as well in the chat. This is a nice touch from Richard Hutchinson. Rob Burrow told me to fight on and think, dream big. What a wonderful man, and did so much for everyone. So obviously there, Richard has certainly got some memories of Rob and has met him during his life. But yeah, I mean, in terms of Lindsay Burrow, I mean, absolutely exceptional. And again, when you speak to anybody who knows Rob and what the family's been going through, they've all said exactly the same thing where Lindsay's concerned. Just an unbelievable human being. The support, the love, the affection, the way she's handled it. And when you watch those documentaries, Greg, to go and do work and then come home and, you saw that, for many years now, she's had to lift Rob out the chair. She's had to dress him, all the rest of it. And she's done so with a smile on her face. And it's just been... It's been inspiring, really, hasn't it? The whole thing.
Yeah, it has. Incredible. The support that she's given to Rob and the kids as well. Let's not forget the kids in all of this as well. She's obviously, it's not just Rob, it's the kids. And I think she's probably been a bit of a crutch for his mum and dad as well, who've been fantastic and give a real insight into what a tight knit family they are. And it's extremely sad news tonight. Really is.
Well, we had to come on. Yeah. I mean, we couldn't not come on. And forgive me, I'd have done far more. But I've been resisting the temptation to prepare for this because I didn't want to prepare for this. So pretty much the two videos you've just seen have been botched together in the last hour to do this. But Dawn says it there. She's not embarrassed to say her eyes are red raw. And I have to say, I was absolutely floored. I think I won't be alone. I think none of us will be alone. She said there, do you know what, Stu? Good shout. Lindsay Burrow deserves it. But do you know what? It's not a bad shout. But yeah, I shed a tear. I don't mind saying that. I put the only Leeds Rhino shirt that I own, of course, with me crest in the middle, on in tribute to him tonight. And that's another thing, isn't it? He made me buy a Leeds Rhino shirt. What's all that about? He must have been a hell of a man, Steph, to get me to buy a Leeds Rhino shirt.
I almost disowned you, Dave. I must admit, I almost disowned you.
But I'll tell you, it's interesting. I'll tell you. I mean, Greg knows this. I'll tell you a quick tale. Like I say, keep going in the chat. We'll keep getting your comments on. But I bought this shirt because I was touched by this shirt because, of course, it was designed by his kids and there's messages on it from the kids and all the rest of it. And I thought, you know what, a bit of money's going to go to MND as well. And as a Warrington fan, I wanted to show my love and support to the family. But I had to put the Warrington badge on. I just had to do that. I'm sorry, I did. And I remember the year that I bought it. I got me one, I got my son one. And I actually wore this when Leeds came that season to Warrington. And there was a lot of Warrington fans giving me like looks of, what's that? Almost what's that? And a good, many people came up to me and said, got to ask you, mate, what's going on with the shirt? And I just said to them, it's just one word, isn't it? It's called respect. And they just all shook me out and spot on. Fair play to you.
Exactly.
And that's why I bought it. That's why I did what I did. And I won't be the only one that has gone out and bought this shirt and many other shirts in Rob's memory, Steph.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is where the best side of rugby league comes out for me, in terms of the support and love for, a rival player. There's not many people who can command the respect that Rob Burrow does in the game, and that's the biggest testament anyone can pay to him. He was loved by everybody. Everybody loved him, and I think that was more to do with how he was off the field as well. But you struggle to what to say, don't you? Because there's that much love for the guy, and I think everybody's just. We knew it was coming, but it still doesn't make it any easier.
No. And I have to say, I mean, I've seen this disease up close with a former colleague, and whilst I'm incredibly sad, I am incredibly sad. There's also an element of relief for Rob because Rob he's had to go through it, and he's done so with incredible dignity, I have to say, and so much courage. I mean, when Rob was diagnosed, I mean, most people with MND, to get to 2 years is quite a feat, and I think even in adversity in this illness, Greg, the fighting spirit of the man to spend another 4.5 years surrounded by his family, to see his kids growing up, I think it just he was a warrior on the pitch, but to battle this disease for 4.5 years again. it's a very special person who can do that.
Yeah, you know, and we've had this disease take quite a few people in the rugby league community and the sporting community as a whole. And yeah, dignity and bravery are two words that kind of come to mind when you think about the battle he's gone through. You know, we've lost a few. Rob has been highlighted. I think a lot has got to be said for Kevin Sinfield as well, in the way that he's kind of rallied around his former teammate too. But yeah, I mean the bravery they've shown. Again, that word inspirational. Again, you know, you keep using this word, but it's true.
Spot on. They're spot on. I mean, Davey Boy there saying rugby league's amazing sport. We all come together. Craig Rigby and Dawn Baker, both Wigan fans, saying that on the 7th minute in the Challenge Cup final, we need to be singing one Rob Burrow. I think that will happen. Yeah. And I have to say, I think not just that, I think the abide with me will be Sam with a little bit more gusto as well on Saturday, Steph.
Yeah, it's. I mean, as you know, I'm going to be there at Wembley on Saturday. That song last year for me, you know, it's always had a special place in my heart. It was always emotional. I think it's going to be very, very emotional on Saturday.
I agree, and I think not just the Challenge Cup final, but the women's final as well, and the 1895 final. All three games that chant should be sang after 7 minutes or in the 7th minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just thinking, while she's talking there, Greg, Leeds Rhinos, I think they're away, are they? Yeah, they're away. So actually, it's yourself.
Steph. We're the first home game.
Yeah, 21st of June. And I'd expect, knowing Leeds, the champion club that they are, and what they've done for Rob, Lindsay and the family, the way in which they've done a couple of special events already, I would expect that's going to be a very special evening indeed. Yes, it'll be emotional, but it'll be done in the right way.
Absolutely. I literally just sent a message to my family saying, if you're thinking of going to Leeds, get your tickets now, because that one is gonna sell out. And you know, I'm kind of glad in a way that we are playing them, because I you know, I'd love to go and pay my respects to him in that way.
Yeah. Well, you'd expect. I mean, you'd expect the family will be VIPs, and rightly so, for that game. And I would expect that they would be there. I think the great and the good of that Leeds team as well. It wouldn't surprise me if there's some sort of you know, that golden generation piece on the pitch as well. I just think it's going to be an incredibly. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Yes, absolutely, Steph. You go. Lee Leopards are there. It's your team. I won't go. I'd love to go, but I'd rather a Leeds fan get the ticket that I'd take, because, you know, they watch Rob through thick and thin, and, you know, I'd just be taking up a seat that I think a Leeds fan deserves to be in. That said, I do plan to go whenever the funeral is to Leeds and pay me respects that way.
Yeah,
I think what I'm planning on doing.
I think any way that people want to do it, you know, just do it in your own way.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there'll be millions of people, because one of the other things is he went outside of rugby league, which is, you know, for rugby league is quite unusual. But because of, you know, the stuff what him and Kevin did, and the awareness that they raised for MND, they went outside. But the biggest thing for me is that they showed the world what rugby league is about, and about the brotherhood that we have. And I think it's probably the most powerful message I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Well, Tom, well, on the topic of MND, they also have come out. This is theirs. It was a great sadness that the MND Association has learned the death of our patron, Rob Burrow, CBE, 4.5 years after his diagnosis of motor neuron disease. Our thoughts today go with Rob's wife, Lindsay, children, Macy, Maya, and Jackson, family and friends, and, of course, the rugby league community. He remained a consistent and passionate advocate for people with MND. He became the first person to use communications aid to read bedtime story on CBeebies, and he joined the United to End MND Coalition, which successfully campaigned for £50 million worth of government investment in targeted MND research. Rob's former captain, Kev Sinfield, CBE, took on the first 4 incredible challenges, raising more than £7 million for MND charities, including the MND Association. Rob's and Kev's friendship made headline news around the world. Thousands of well-wishers, not just in rugby's heartland, but across the country, donated, took on fundraising challenges, and pledged support in tribute to Rob's bravery. It's a testament to his strength and feeling of people have for Rob that the support in his name has never wavered. The MND Association is incredibly grateful to Rob and his family for helping to raise awareness of MND and funds for the association by sharing the details of their journey and by inspiring so many people both within the MND community and the wider public. And of course, there is going to be an MND clinic named in Rob's honour in tribute to the great man, Greg.
Yeah, quite rightly so. And I think it's there in the chat there that the Harry Sunderland Award has been renamed the Rob Burrow Award. I would personally like to see the Man of Steel Award renamed.
I don't know about. I mean, look, Steve Prescott as well. I think you don't. I don't. No, I think for me, I thought your idea over the Super League trophy was a stronger one.
Yeah, maybe. I forgot. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about being Steve Prescott. Scratch that one. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
renaming the trophy. Yeah, sorry, I'd forgot that it was the Steve Prescott Man of Steel.
Steve Prescott Man of Steel. I think that remains. But yeah, I think it was a missed opportunity. I do think it was a missed opportunity where the Super League trophy was concerned.
But yeah, going back to the MND statement, it's brought a lot of awareness. He brought the two codes of rugby together as well. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
he's brought the two codes of rugby together with football as well.
Yeah.
So and Kevin Sinfield again. I'll mention his name again. It's soon to be Sir Kevin Sinfield.
Yeah,
I'm convinced of that. I think Kevin Sinfield will be absolutely devastated as well today.
I mean, he'll be absolutely inconsolable. Yeah. But I think what Kev has got to do is, I mean, look, we've all witnessed firsthand the level of friendship between him and Rob. And I think that, if there's one thing that has humbled all of us really is what Kevin Sinfield has done in friendship, because, that's how you would hope you'd react in a similar situation. But I mean, it just incredible, really, what Kev's done. And I think the entire generation of players, not only the ones that he played with in the golden generation, but Greg, you said it right at the start. I think he was just admired throughout the game of rugby league. I mean, again, because of his stature, because of what he could do. I mean, in the Burrow family statement, he never believed that he couldn't do anything. And, how many kids with the stature of Rob have given up on a rugby league career, and going back to Ryan's point, now are inspired to go and play rugby. I mean, you look at the likes of Lachlan Lamb, probably not an awful lot of difference in stature between him and Rob Burrow. We've got a few. Leon Hayes is another good example of Warrington, and I would expect that a lot of those players probably look at Burrow as who they would wish to be on a rugby league field.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I mean, that's one of the greatest things about rugby, isn't it? Is that it's a game for everybody. It's not one body type and that's it kind of thing. You got your big lads and your small lads and your fast lads and but 100%, there must be hundreds of kids running around pretending to be Rob Burrow, and thinking if he can do it, then I can, play at the top of that game. But for me, he's right up there with the best sevens that the game's ever seen. I rank him as highly as the Murphys, Gregorys, those Sean Edwards, those kinds of players. Yeah. Which is probably the biggest compliment you could make to him in terms of a rugby perspective, isn't it?
I mean, each of those players you mentioned defined a certain era.
Yes, and he did.
I think Rob Burrow defined the era he played in.
Yeah, but they were a dynasty. That Leeds Rhinos team were a dynasty, and they were spearheaded by Rob Burrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is this. I mean, and I said this to Barry Matt when I did the In Conversation with him. What Rob Burrow has done in terms of the battle with MND, the amount of money that he and Kev have raised for MND is incredible. But we should never ever forget what a great rugby league player this guy was, because bottom line is he was, as we've all said, one of the best. I mean, an 8-time Super League winner, won the League Leaders Shield 3 times, Challenge Cup twice, World Club Champion 3 times, Young Player of the Year 2001, Harry Sunderland 2007, 2011, and 11. Dream Team 5, 7, and 8. Hall of Fame, Leeds Rhinos 2020. He's got an MBE, CBE, an honorary doctorate, even a BBC Personality of the Year award, which again, just for rugby league, anybody associated rugby league, dearie me, you've got to do a lot to get any recognition from the BBC because we know they're a union code. That's what they are. So what this guy's achieved in life is incredible, and his legacy will endure, won't it?
Yeah, he's even got a gold Blue Peter badge, which was presented to him, that episode was shown Friday, I think, on BBC. So, yeah, I mean, do you know what? We've got to give some praise to the BBC for the way they covered
absolutely
the story, and for highlighting it. That we often criticise the BBC because they do appear to have a bias towards our friends in the other code. But, Sally Nugent especially deserves some credit and some praise for bringing the story to national attention. So, yeah, we sometimes are critical of the BBC, but they did a particularly good job on highlighting this one, I thought.
No, I'd agree with that. Yeah. Steph?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think anybody who's watched the documentaries and stuff, if you haven't, then you need to. But it was heartbreaking. It was beautiful. It was lots of things rolled into one, and I'm sure we'll see lots and lots more, come out over the next weeks and months about him, kind of thing. But no, they did a great job, and I think the most important thing was raising awareness of this horrible disease. And hopefully off the back of this terribly sad news today, it'll inspire some people to donate to it. More that have done. And what a legacy that would be, to not only have his centre, what they build in Leeds, but also millions of pounds on top of what they've already raised. Going into help fight this cruel and horrible disease.
Spot on. Couldn't agree more. I mean, look, in any walk of life, whether it be in business, whether it be in anything, I've always said that those who work alongside you, what they've got to say about you, probably means the world. So let's have a look at that.
Champion.
Burrow! Oh, fabulous!
Unstoppable.
Burrow for Britain! Oh, fantastic!
Selfless.
Burrow going for the line! He's done it again!
Brave.
A winner.
Relentless. Inspirational. Idol.
Magic.
Hero.
Rule changing.
This king is all talent!
So there you go. A few people that knew Rob well there. Kev Sinfield, Danny Maguire, Callum Watkins in there, all pretty much having a word to describe Rob Burrow. And I think we'd echo all of them, wouldn't we, Greg?
Every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That try, I think it's against Hull KR is the one that stands out to me, because I think if I remember correctly, and I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he pulled his hamstring.
Yeah, at Wembley. He went off just after. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, and he carried on to score the try. That shows kind of the bravery that he had. We know him for the long range tries and whatever, but that one where I think his hamstring goes as he's running in to score it, and he carries on and just complete scoring is the one that stands out for me in his career, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Steph, glowing tributes there from some of his former coaches and players that he played alongside.
Yeah, and I think ever since the news came out about his thing, the tributes that have come in for him and stuff from everybody associated in the game. But you're right, so there's no better respect than from your peers, is there? And I'm sure there'll be some very emotional statements coming out over the next few days from those types of players and people who are far better qualified to talk about Rob Burrow than we are. But I'm sure there'll be some beautiful tributes going out to him.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be Martin Sadler this evening, would you? Because he's I'm sure his journalists. I mean, don't get me wrong. I presume they've got quite a lot of content ready anyway. But I mean, I bet
I think that would have been
absolutely bang at it now for League Express tomorrow. Billy Steed there saying on the 7th minute of every match in Super League and the Challenge Cup, we need to bring the house down. Couldn't agree with you more, Billy. And I think that goes without saying. I do think right across the game, not only at Super League level, but I also think, dare I say it, internationally. I think the Australians, because like I say, we are one big family. I'll be watching with great interest tomorrow morning NRL 360, because I think that they will also be paying tribute to Rob Burrow. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if even the NRL market in some way, because we are just one big family, Greg.
Yeah, I think that you're probably right there, because I think they have covered what Kevin Sinfield has been doing in the fundraising. They've been covering that as well. I hope they do, actually. I hope they do.
Yeah.
Because, it's he is that type of player that people would have admired all around the world. Anybody that has a love of rugby league in any part of the world would have admired Rob Burrow and just revelled at what a genius player he was.
Absolute genius. Craig Rigby there, he remembers him very, very well, scoring a try at Wigan. And for the first time in my life, I saw the whole crowd stand up and clap an outstanding player. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, and I remember that golden generation at Leeds. There was many a time where I clapped the Leeds Rhinos at that time, not just Rob, but the whole team, because he was an integral part of what they achieved and some of the greatest moments that we've ever seen on a rugby league field, that particular team did. And I think it's only right and appropriate, because this will go down. I mean, Barry McDermott said this try will never, ever be eclipsed in a grand final. Perhaps Barry's right.
Standing firm defensively, Michael Shenton. Ben Jones-Bishop.
It's a great test for the patience of players like Johnny Lomax and Lee Gasco, really. Obviously, for the other team, Kevin Sinfield's been there, seen it and done it all before. They're aware of this grinding, relentless game that could take a 79th minute before we get a winner.
Oh, he's got under the Burrow! And he's outstripped Wellens. It's a brilliant Burrow try! A fantastic Rob Burrow try!
Tickets from 20 quid back in the day, if only. Anyway, but yeah, I mean that try. I mean, I remember watching that on the telly. I wasn't at that grand final, one of the few that I didn't go at OT, and I was, Craig said a minute ago, stood up and applauded. I remember that going in. I weren't a Rhinos fan. And I punched the air because it was just absolute majesty on a rugby league field, Steph.
100%. I'd go as far to say it's iconic. It's a moment. A bit like Ellery Hanley's try and Martin Affire's try at Wembley. Those kind of moments. I think it's right up there with those. And I think it's, to this day, one of the greatest tries ever scored.
Spot on, Greg. Always nice to relive a classic.
Yeah, a great try. One of many, as Steph said, one of many, many great tries that Rob Burrow scored. My particular favourite is, as I've said, the one he scored against OKR, simply because of the bravery he showed in it. But, that one, amazing try. How does he make the room to get through? It's just a blur.
Alex Sharp there, he was 16, fell down a few rows celebrating, was amazing. Well, fair play to you, mate. You'll always have that memory. Thanks to Greg Roach in the chat. Keep these coming. He's just putting me to Twitter. I'm on Twitter now. Andrew Voss in Australia, waking up to sad news. This is what Andrew Voss has said. It is with the heaviest of hearts that rugby league fans are waking up in Australia to the news that Rob Burrow has passed away. If ever the cliche, not all superheroes wear capes, can be used, today is the day. Fly high, Rob. All our love from afar to Lindsay, Macy, Mayer and Jackson. Beautiful stuff there from Bossy.
Yeah. Classy.
Yeah. He's a great bloke, Bossy. And what a lovely tribute that is to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going through it here now. Rob Hicks, no words, heartbroken, an absolute hero. Brian Carney, if we could make more like Rob Burrow, the world would certainly be a better place. We'll keep an eye on Twitter as we're chatting. But yeah, I mean, and again, you know, like I say, I do think the NRL in some way, shape or form will pay tribute to Rob Burrow this coming week. We've heard a few of his former teammates talk about a one-word answer. I mean, I do that on In Conversation. A one-word answer that describes Rob. But it's fair to say he was a cheeky chappy as well.
So he always says that he's 3-0. If you've ever seen them fights, they're not really fights because he couldn't fight. The Lawaki one is just a comedy gold in itself. It's like Scooby and Scrappy-Doo.
When you show people that clip, it kind of encapsulates what Rob's about. He's not going to take a backward step for anybody.
Everything the kid says is either a quote or a one-liner or something to do with what he's seen on TV.
I must have heard about 1 million Ricky Gervais quotes.
We kicked off a special relationship because we realised that we both were mad Office fans. Mad Ricky Gervais fans, Extras fans. That started a specific dialect for me and Rob for what would be the rest of our careers together.
I had a pair of white Calvin Kleins and I'd gone for a massage, getting ready, prepared for a game, and I could see, as I walked back into the changing rooms, I could see a brown stain in my white Calvin Kleins on shore, and I was like, I'm sure that wasn't there before I left. Ran as quick as I could to try and hide them. All the boys are laughing, hysterical on the floor. He'd actually put a Jaffa cake in.
You'd always hear, Billie Jean is not my lover, and that was it. He'd loved Michael Jackson, and no one shared Michael Jackson anywhere that you know Rob was there.
When Brian McClellan was our coach, he came up with a move where the ball gets held in the back of the scrum by the loose forward. On the shout, the scrum breaks, the loose forward picks up and darts straight through the middle. Now, it's probably worked once in 1,000 times, and we're going to put Rob at the base of the scrum because he was that quick. So we practiced this a couple of times in training. I can remember Blue Eves, Brian McClellan says, right, we need a name for it, what should we call it? And Rob said NHS, because that's where I'm going to end up if this carries on.
Superb stuff there, happy days. And again, Barry Mack, I mean, by all accounts, he used to always pick on the big players in the changing rooms because he knew that none of them would give him a slap. A lot of the big ones, but that one, the one at Hull, I mean, that was, as they said there, I think Keith Senior said it was comedy gold.
I love that Scrappy-Doo. I love that. That is brilliant. Scrappy-Doo.
Happy days indeed. Yeah, just like I say, I'm just keeping an eye here on Twitter. I mean, from your perspective, good that Steph to see some of those clips of Rob 3-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And that whole one's iconic. You know, with his hand on his head and Rob's, you know doing that. It is something like off a Tom and Jerry kind of thing, isn't it? You know, but it's those are rugby stories, aren't they? And it epitomises, you know, having played in a rugby team and you know those kind of banter and things that happen. It just shows the love and respect they had for him, but also his personality as well, which is probably something else we haven't talked about pretty much tonight. But it's probably the most valid thing that he had a very, very good sense of humour. You know, he was a bit of a joker. And I suppose he had to. That was like his thing, wasn't it? In that team, and you could just see how much those lead lads loved him.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, all I would say is on the after dinner speaking circuit. I mean, let's be fair. Rob's probably left a legacy of material for those Leeds Rhinos players that share the dressing room with him, Greg.
Yeah, you've got to have a certain personality to stand up in a rugby league dressing room anyway, or any sporting dressing room. And when you're the size that Rob was, you know, he's probably got to amplify that 1,000 times. But yeah, there's some of the stories that we will hear over the next few days and weeks that are going to be good food for after dinner talks, I think, for a long time to come.
Absolutely, and this is breaking in the last 45 minutes or so. The Prince of Wales has come out with regards to this, calling Rob a legend of rugby league with a huge heart. He taught us in a world of adversity we must dare to dream. Catherine and I send our love to Lindsay, Jackson, Mayer and Macy. That's absolutely outstanding. So even the royal family today have Rob.
Is Kate still a patron for the rugby league?
She's still patron of the Rugby Football League, yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. But I think Prince William was involved in the story, wasn't he? On the line, presented him with his.
He presented him. He went to
CBE.
Yeah, the CBE went up to present it especially to him. Yeah,
you know that's no mean feat to get. You know, the future King of England to come to where you played, not go down to where he lives. For him to come up where you played and where you live, to be presented with you know, an award, that is, I think that shows the kind of the respect he was held in, the fact that the Prince of Wales would do that to present an award. I think that was a quite a special thing to happen. I don't think people kind of realise how special that would be for, you know, the future king to actually come to you to present you with your award. That doesn't happen very often.
But look, you know, Rob did on a rugby league field probably what William would dream of doing in a sporting life. And as much as, you know, he might have served in the military and got, you know, I know he did a good job on Anglesey in terms of what he did there in terms of mountain rescue and stuff. But I think, you know, even the future King of England would probably bow down that Rob Burrow in his 41 years has probably done far more to earn the adulation that he's getting than perhaps he does. And that's no, and I think, you know, I think William's decent bloke, to be fair. But, you know, for me, I dare say Rob Burrow in terms of lifetime achievements. Let's remember, Rob wasn't born into it. What Rob's achieved in life, he's done it through grit, hard work, and determination.
Yeah.
You know,
still no mean feat though, mate. Still no
mean feat. No, you're spot on, mate. You know, like I say, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. The Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he's weighed in. Inspiration to everyone who met him and who heard his incredible story. I was honoured to spend some time with him last year. He drove a fundraising campaign that supports vital new research, improve the care for others, not least through the creation of the Rob Burrow Centre for Motor Neuron Disease in Leeds. He leaves behind an amazing legacy. My thoughts are with his family and friends. Keir Starmer has gone in extremely sad news. Rob leaves behind an incredible legacy in his work to raise awareness for MND. His thoughts are with his family and friends. Rugby Union's Andy Good, he's in here, RIP to the legend and absolute warrior Rob Burrow. Sad news, but what an absolute champion he was. Former football pundit Chris Kamara, what a trooper Rob was. He fought a real battle with MND. Rob raised awareness and funds despite his condition for other people to benefit from. The impact he leaves will be long-lasting. RIP Rob, what a hero. So like I say, loads right across the sporting sphere, political, you know, royalty, you name it. Everybody touched, and it's no surprise the number one trend on Twitter, X as it's now called tonight, is Rob Burrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the magnitude of the people that are tweeting, you know, regardless of political persuasion or whatever, what you think of the Royals, they are huge, you know, influential people in this country, and that just goes to show, you know, they don't do that for anybody, you know, and it just shows the magnitude of how much Rob's touched everybody in this country and across the world. You know, the kind of things, and I expect, you know, even more, you know, high profile people having their comments on Rob.
Spot on. Claire Shirts, it's a new name. Claire, welcome to Super League Raw on this very emotional evening. Do join us for Super League Raw weekly at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday if you've got the time. Outstanding, talented player, like a giant, such a humble man, and will be sadly missed by everyone. Definitely next week we should all show our support for the great man and idol. A minute applause on the 7th minute. I think that goes without saying. This one just in, Barry McDermott has also tweeted, the world will never forget Rob Burrow. He is a hero to so many people and an inspiration to all who were lucky enough to meet him and come across his story on and off the pitch. He made me dance like MJ and run when I hate doing both, but mainly he made me laugh out loud. He was brave beyond words in these last few months. He has taught me so much about courage, kindness and love. Good night, God bless my little brother. I feel blessed to have called you my friend. And that actually has choked me up a little bit, actually. Lovely.
Yeah, little. Yeah, nice. From a rough and tumble forward like Barry Mack.
Yeah.
Well, that's a glowing tribute. But they were good friends as well. You can't forget that. You know, off the pitch, they were friends as well as teammates. And like you say, like you're reading out those tributes again. He's kind of united different aspects of the world and sport.
Yeah.
In his fight, he's highlighted a worthy cause. Highlighted, a disease, a horrible disease that, if we can get the money and find a cure, I think that will be the lasting legacy of the work that Rob and Kevin have done can go towards finding a cure. I think that will be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, look, we wanted to come on and we wanted to pay our tribute. We don't want to just talk for the sake of talking. That wouldn't do. We've come on. We just felt it was right and appropriate this evening that, as people who do live shows and do what we do around Super League, how could you not come on this evening at this sad news and just take a few moments to bring, quite a few people together, read out a few comments and pay tribute, not only to Rob, but to his family, who at this moment in time, will be grieving, and that's again the real devastating element of this disease, because you grieve not just at the passing; it's a long bereavement in that respect.
Yeah, it is.
We will keep our eye out as we always do in terms of the funeral and anything like that and plans. And I completely agree with Craig and those in the comments that we need to make sure that the Challenge Cup final is a celebration for Rob and his life, and to all of those players, the 34 players that are going to contest the Challenge Cup final, put on a show for Rob, because that's what he would have wanted. He would have wanted each and every one of those players to play their heart out like he did on the field, to promote this great game of rugby, which Rob absolutely adored. In a time where insurance is being talked about and this, that, the other. Let's not forget Rob Burrow, who has fought a really bad disease, came out and said he couldn't possibly go down that route. He had too much respect for the sport and what it had given him as in his life. Again, that's a measure of the man for me.
Yeah, 100%. There's not a lot more you can add to that.
No.
To be honest,
no,
100%.
Absolutely. So, final remarks then, boys. We've, like I say, we've marked it for a good 51 minutes there. But I'll just say, there's players in life that, I mean, Mike Gregory is another one who, of course, we lost in tragic, tragic circumstances. But there's players in rugby league that you remember, and a lot of those wear your badge. So, the likes of Desi Drummond, Mike Gregory, players. If you go over to Lee, you're talking about Alex Murphy's time at the club. You're probably talking about over to you, Steph. The Kellys of this world and all the rest of it. But very few do come along where you will remember him as an opposing fan. There's quite a few in that particular league. I mean, the trilogy there that we talked about, Phil Maguire and Burrow will be up there. Fire, Andy Gregory. There's these players that have played Scully, Farrell. We could just carry on, couldn't we? And Rob Burrow is absolutely in that bracket. And all I would say, and I say this to every player that I ever meet, I always say thank you for doing what they do to give us 80 minutes of entertainment every week, because what they do for our entertainment is nothing short of heroic. But then there's a player like Rob Burrow that didn't only play the game, but played it with a smile on his face, with great skill, with great quality. For me, like I've already said, in that era, he was, for me, the most feared player on that team. I hated coming up against Rob Burrow. I always felt he was going to do us. He did us time and time again. He did Saints time and time again. The guy was just absolute quality. Got to represent his country, got to represent Great Britain. Lived, yes, the latter stage of his life, he's done it incredibly tough, but up until his diagnosis, the man lived the dream, and he did so with a smile on his face. And personally, that's the image of Rob that I want to remember when I put together tonight's videos. I didn't want to go too big on the MND. I know that because I think that'll be talked about and we'll get a lot of press. I just wanted to talk tonight a little bit more about the man and what he did on the rugby league field, and what caught my imagination and what made me happy. And I've enjoyed many a happy day, an hour, a minute watching Rob Burrow on a rugby league field. He will, for me, in my lifetime, he'll never be forgotten. And whenever that clip comes up at the grand final, or I ever see any clips about Rob Burrow, I will certainly sit and watch and smile and say, I saw that great man play a great game of rugby league. I'll come to you last, Greg. Steph, last thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, as people who tune into this show all the time, we're rugby league addicts. We don't. We obviously we love our team, but we also love this game. And Rob's one of the main reasons. He's my generation. I grew up watching Rob Burrow, and he's one of the genuine superstars. And we say it time and time again. There's not that many genuine superstars. Bevan Frenchies, people like that. Rob Burrow was one of those superstars. But what I would say, probably my biggest tribute I could make to him is after he got diagnosed, he made me look at my relationships and my friendships, and am I doing enough for my friends? And I think what him and Kevin did was for me to look at how I live my life, and am I really doing what I should be doing with my friends and my family? And if you could give a tenth of what their friendship and brotherhood was, then you'd be doing well. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've took from it. And sometimes you need something like that in your own life just to teach you a few lessons, maybe. And that's the biggest thing I've taken from it.
Brilliant,
Well said, sir.
yeah,
Well said.
outstanding, mate. Can't fault any of that, Greg.
Yeah, I just think don't let MMD define Rob Burrow. Let rugby league define him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's important. Let's not this horrible disease define what he was. Let what he did on the pitch define his legacy. I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there'll be more news between now and Tuesday night when we go live for Super League Raw Weekly. We've done a tribute. We will touch on it, but obviously we've done a good out getting on for an hour here now. We will keep you posted if and when we hear stuff on our Facebook pages and this, that, the other. But yeah, impromptu. We don't profess to be as good as Sky. We haven't got the budget. We haven't got all of that. But in our own little way here, we've done a little bit of quick editing. We've put some nice things together for you. We've all come together. And I think that again, would make the great man himself smile. That tonight, a very small proportion, because that's what we are at this moment in time. We aim to be bigger, but at this moment in time, a very small proportion of rugby league enthusiasts and the three presenters, not even Leeds Rhinos fans, rugby league fans, we've all come together tonight in the name of Rob Burrow. And again, not many people in life can say that.
Definitely.
In death, Rob can. And this will just be one of many tributes that are given to him over the coming days. He deserves every single one. I think I'm going to close by just saying tonight, for the first time ever, we had titles that were around one player. There's quite a lot of you that have joined us since we've been going. So what we're going to do, we're going to go out in exactly the same way that we started. First of all, we're going to basically pay tribute to him in a respectful way. And then we're going to go out enjoying Rob Burrow on the rugby field, doing what he did best. On behalf of everybody associated with Super League Raw as the community, on behalf of everybody who's on the screen tonight, all I'm going to say in closing is, Rob, you're a champion, mate. May you just watch over this great game of ours from the stars and make sure whoever your God is, that he's got rugby league turned on the weekend. Take care.
Cheers,
we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Darkness can